Jeffree Star is a name I honestly didn't know much about, and that's why I have to apologize for a point in my earlier video. In an earlier video I made about Davi Vanity, I brought up this tweet right here, where Jeffree Star flat out condemned Davi Vanity. I had not done enough research, and that is a point of my own mistake and my own failure. And I apologize for that because I didn't research much deeper than that. I didn't know much more than that because honestly, I was never into this kind of community. I never knew these people. I knew the stories in passing. I had missed out on some context that, looking back, I could have easily found and I should have easily found. So yes, he started going on tour with him after all this shit happened. He had then apologized to him, saying that he loves Davi like a brother. I had missed out on all these tweets and this information, and for that, I apologize. I painted Jeffree Star as, I guess, more of a good person than I should have. Because it turns out, Jeffree Star is a total fucking prick. And I can't, in good conscience, defend this man for all the shit he has done, and I regret painting him in a good light in my Davi Vanity video. And it turns out, and I knew some of this beforehand, but I didn't know how deep it went and all that. Turns out Jeffree Star's a fucking prick. Jeffree Star, looking like a fucking ghoul from Fallout 3 here, turns out is racist, obnoxious, total prick, a liar, a man who's willing to slander people. There's a lot going on with this motherfucker, and I want to kind of compile it. I do want to thank a few creators. There's, I think, Exposing Liar 6 on Twitter. There's Creepshow Art. There's Tamimi. There's a lot of other ones. I never knew about this community, because at the time that both Jeffree Star and Davi Vanity were big, I was playing fucking Halo in, like, local tournaments. There's a photo of me right there. I just practically doxed a younger version of myself, but oh well. I used to play a lot of Halo. I didn't really listen to this kind of music while playing Halo. I listened to more, like, Weezer and Modest Mouse. Not great fits for Halo, but that's what I listened to. I didn't listen to this shit. This shit was not my bag, you know? But it seems that Jeffree Star has more skeletons in his closet than most people. Even Davi in a lot of ways, but different skeletons. Not really rape skeletons, more like total fucking prick skeletons. Let's get into that.
Go to Jeffy's house right now. We're going to Jeffy's.
I think the biggest part that I really want to talk about in this video, I see other creators talking about, I see other creators mentioning, is the fact that he supposedly lied about using alcohol and drugs. He would tweet a whole bunch of shit about him getting drunk, getting blasted and out and all. And he's actively putting out in public tweets that say, I'm getting drunk, I'm getting wasted, having champagne and all that. There's this video here, I found it on, I believe it's Exposing Liar 6 on Twitter, I mentioned earlier. Why lie to, oh, I'm getting drunk, oh, I'm getting hammered. And then you decide, years down the road, oh, I've never drank, oh, woe is me, my name is Jeffree. Why? That is the question for me where I'm like, if you're willing to lie about this, what are you willing to lie about from there? If you're willing to say, hey, I love getting hammered, I love drinking all the time, and then years later you come on down the road and say, oh, I don't drink. What are you talking about? Those tweets are photoshopped. Well, no, they're not. They're not photoshopped. You can look at archives of these tweets publicly. So it begs to me the question, if you're willing to lie about drinking, what else are you willing to lie about? Now, in this clip, I'm going to play from a video that I'm going to link. I'm going to warn you, the first little bit of this is incredibly fucking loud, and I had to turn the gain down to about, let me see here. Negative 16.9 decibels. I had to turn this down so low it is hard to hear the music. One, hopefully so I don't get copyright claimed. And two, because it literally, you can't hear shit. It'll just blast out your eardrums. So I did the considerate thing that the original uploader didn't do and decided to say, hey, here you go. Here is the lessened version of this loud ass fucking.
My thoughts again, I will beat your motherfucking ass outside, bitch. see her again, I'm going to fucking jail. You little bitch. I do not need to be disrespected. If anyone touched her, jail. But, oh, it's me, it's okay. Get her the fuck out. Go in the parking lot, bitch.
In a follow-up clip, which was taken from 2009, where he grabs a man of unknown sexuality's crotch visibly. And I'm going to just play the clip from this video. Again, I will link the video that I used down in the description below. I've already archived them, so if it goes down, I can re-upload it to other platforms. But yeah, here we go.
I missed you. I missed you.
How was your show?
Oh. You're not nice to me. I knew it was big. We knew it.
In that clip, he did exactly what the woman on stage did to him. I do believe in consistency. I do believe that person shouldn't have done it. Don't get me wrong. But Jeffree Star did the exact same thing and probably has done that multiple times because of the way he did in that video. It's not even subtle if you watch it again. I mean, I'll play it again.
I missed you. I missed you.
How was your show?
Oh. You're not nice to me. I knew it was big. We knew it.
There's no excuse, man or woman, to grab someone's crotch like that. I'm sorry. I'm unless you're dating or you're married to that person, that's my opinion. Few days later, me here decided to finally finish this video because it's been a little busy. Mom's Basement, for those who don't know what it is. Mom's Basement is a podcast between Daniel Keem, Lossless Crazy, and a freshly unfrozen Neanderthal. This podcast, it's not really good. It's kind of like most of Keem's things after the original incarnation abated, which is, say, trash. I'll be honest with that. It's awful. I hate listening to it. You couldn't pay me the kind of money that apparently Spotify is paying Daniel Keem to host Mom's Basement. It's just not good. However, he decided to have Jeffree Star, who is the topic of this video. This was a day or so after his infamous showing on the Chris Hansen podcast, which I'm not going to show because I really just don't want to fucking watch Chris Hansen right now. I'm sorry, I just don't want to. So, as we go into this, I will be kind of going through certain clips and talking about certain aspects of this interview. And as they pertain, other aspects as well. And it'll kind of be a majority of this video. Let's get into it.
Well, listen, and you know what's crazy? I was a rock star the whole time without
like
ever...
true to it.
You know what's crazy though? I was like basically straight edge until 22. I had never even tried weed. I'm a really late bloomer.
Wow.
And I still have never drank, which is a very big conspiracy on the internet because I used to pretend to drink, take pictures, hold bottles, tweet crazy things about being drunk, and I've never drank before.
You've never drank once?
No, I've
That's
never
crazy.
even sipped a beer. So it's now this big thing of people taking all my old photos. Well, you held a bottle, but I've never taken a sip. Yeah, I come from a really crazy family of alcoholics, so I'm like, you know what? I'm not gonna do it. But now there's a...
Why do you think people are trying to catch you out in that so much? Is it just because there's a potential lie? It can be easily disproved. Like, why do people care that you drink?
I've had such a controversial past. I think people just want to make it a thing. I mean, why would I lie about not drinking? That's I rarely say this. That's the gayest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, no,
like, it's so stupid.
It would be
I smoked so much weed. I love marijuana. I was a late bloomer. I wish I would have been high all through high school. Would have been a lot more calmer. But yeah, I'm just not into drinking. I don't like even how it smells, and I've never tried it. And now that I'm 34, what's the point? There's no point.
So Jeffree's big point here is the fact that he's apparently never drank. When there's, I'm going to play this little TikTok in the background because it does my work for me. There's photos of him with beer and drinking and tweeting about it. People are either calling you out for a point that you're making now in the future after having made those posts, which seem like you are drinking. It's not rocket science. It's not a big conspiracy to look at that and think, oh, he's getting drunk. Instead, you think that all the people who are asking this are just speculating. They're just throwing out wild accusations. When you're putting out the evidence out there, the evidence which makes you look like you drink. You kind of seem like you fucking drink, Jeffree. Not a bad thing to drink. I drink. Maybe I'm not the best poster child for drinking, but still. The point is, this video is out here. This video is public. These images are public. These tweets are public. At very least, they were at the time of gathering them when this TikTok was made. You've been known to delete tweets since all this shit happened. You even say yourself, why lie about it? So why lie about drinking? Why lie about going and partying like this in the first place? Why tweet about it? Why make it public? Why put it public facing? That is the question.
Yeah, so I used to tour with an array of people. One of the acts was called Blood on the Dance Floor. It was kind of like a wannabe Jeffree Star, MySpace Music. They started because of me. And one of the main creator, his name is Davi. His real name is Jesus Torres. His name is Davi Vanity. That's been his stage name forever. And we toured a few times. We recorded a very offensive, sexual, crazy song together. And we did Warped Tour twice. And now what's coming to light is, back in the day, there was allegations that he was trying to sleep with underage girls, that he had, maybe he did, no one was really sure. And we all, I'm not going to word the word ganged up because it's a very serious subject, but we all ganged up as a community kind of in the Warped Tour world and called this person out. And there was never any a real arrest. There was no criminal charges and nothing ever happened with it. So 2 years later, I did one last tour. Thank you. And people are connecting that, hey, you called this person out and then you worked with a pedophile again. And I'm like, oh, we're not doing this. So that's what's people have been trying to start that rumor. And this person I haven't thought of in so long. And I guess that they're currently in it with a new stage name, currently trying to bait girls. So what's happening is all these drama channels are using me as a way to amplify the situation, and they're all benefiting from this financially, okay? Which, Keem, you know, that got them really fired up yesterday.
Right.
But the thing is I did not see a crime ever committed in person, and there's a lot of people that in their head want to believe that I did, and I of course never did, because that's horrifying, and I would of course report it. And it's so absurd to copy and paste all these old videos of Jeffree and Davi grab people from the crowd and dance with them on stage. Is that not every rock show you've ever been to as a kid? So they're trying to vilify me and somehow make me complicit to this piece of shit, and it's shocking that they're more so focusing on me and our friendship than putting this person in jail. Yeah. So it's very bizarre, Keem, and it's been an interesting week.
It's a tough position to be in. I mean, when it comes down to something like this, it's obviously these are very serious allegations. It's a very serious subject. I'd be lying if I said I was never put in a situation where I've heard through the grapevine or felt a weird vibe and then kind of was forced to be around certain individuals that I didn't have any real concrete evidence or proof against, which, just trying to be the best human I can be, I prefer to give people the benefit of the doubt, and I'd like to know for sure before I fully convict somebody in my head. So I don't know, it's a weird thing.
I mean, I know that firsthand experience that you really what you just said is 100% true with a mutual person that, you know, we both know that something.
The main reason people are going after you is because you tweeted out a whole bunch of shit calling Davi out. You tweeted, fuck him, he's a pedophile, fuck people who work with him, all that. Here's the tweets on screen. When you tweet something out like that and then you go back on it, people find you at the very least to be inconsistent. People find you to be worthy of criticism. I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing to be criticized when you do something like that, when you go back on your word, which is what you did. You went back on your word. You don't own up to it, you never own up to it, we'll get to that. You never own up to it, but you call Davi a pedophile. That's a big accusation. That's an accusation you don't make without the right kind of proof behind it and the right kind of meaning and intent behind it. That is a strong word, and you don't use it lightly. Jeffree Star, you use it like a fucking cudgel. It's all you can do. It's all you have done. You went after James Charles, somebody you had no evidence on. Literally no evidence on. Tell you what, actually, we'll hold on to that little thread there. We'll keep that up as these clips are going. But I want you to remember this. I want you to remember this clip in particular because, there's a reason people have beef with you. There's a reason people are going after you, Jeffree. You fucking moron.
Let me read the tweet that people are getting hung up on. Okay, so it's an old tweet from you, Jeffree, that says, I'm going to speak the truth until I die. We saw Davi bring underage girls to his hotel room and do sexual things 100%. So that's the thing where they're like, he saw.
Was that you assuming that happened?
No, that's people in the music scene telling me and me speaking for them.
Okay.
Did I see with my own eyes? No. Were we on tour a few times and there was always people around? Yeah, and I mentioned this yesterday and people were kind of shook. mothers would bring their daughters to these shows.
I mean, that's such a misleading tweet, isn't it? That's so misleading.
Which part?
No? We saw Davi bring underage girls to his hotel rooms and do things 100% illegal. Of course, people are going to interpret that as you seeing that with your own eyes.
Oh, of course. So 10 years later, I'm telling people, did I see a crime or anything actual illegal? No. Other people did and told me that at the time. And then it was not proven, but it was convinced by him being a master manipulator and people that I trusted in our circle that said, no, actually, we've never seen anything. I had someone that had 4 children themselves, a grown mother, as his band member say, Jeffree, I've been in his world for years and I've lived on the tour bus and I've never seen anything. So that's why I did the last tour. Did I ever actually see anything? No. So my tweets were other people saying that, or maybe I'm saying it wrong.
No, of course. I mean, listen.
It's like you're telling me something and I believe you, so I'm going to tweet it out in my voice. At the end of the day, you're only human too. Like, maybe you did misspeak to an extent, but like that's going to happen in your life at some point.
For sure. I mean, he's using the first person plural, like we. We saw it.
That's the main
because
thing,
at that
to give
time,
him a defense.
The thing too about situations like this,
there was just a bunch of he said, she said, and there was never any actual real proof back then, and it was just all.
Do you think that there was enough evidence at the time? I mean, not even evidence, because like you said, you keep saying you didn't see it for yourself, but there were enough suggestions there to make you kind of hesitant, A, to work with him, and B, consider the possibility of reporting him. And do you regret not doing so now?
I regret working with them again. I didn't see anything to actually report. So when I say inappropriate behavior, I think people think it's something way more aggressive. And I never saw underage girls with him alone. What's crazy to me is a lot of mothers would bring their daughters to these shows. There was this one mom that always brought her twin daughters to the tour, and they all allegedly did things on the back of the bus. Was I there for that?
As the girls are of age, I think that's fine.
But I don't know their age, but was I present for some of these mother and daughter of them being there and saying hi and bye on a tour bus? Yes. Was I there during any sexual experiences? Absolutely not.
It's sad that I have to co-sign this like this, but if you say something, if you imply, which is what you did, you implied if you were there, you were on the bus while people were coming in, and you implied that you had saw something. Here are the tweets on screen. You can't deny that at least reads like you saw something. You heard something, saw something, whatever. When you co-sign that kind of tweet out with the audience that you had, well, I guess I should say had. When you co-sign that, you're saying this person is a pedophile. We saw this, which in the grand scheme of things, when it comes to public-facing information, we pretty much means you. That means you had seen it, or people you know and you would trust had seen it. No shit, people are questioning why you word it like this, why you say it like this, why you went on tour with him after, why you called him a brother after. Yeah, no shit, people are gonna ask questions, and I don't think it's unreasonable to ask that question, Jeffree. When you have a public-facing audience and they see one thing from you, they're going to ask questions why you do another, completely. At least most people. I would question if someone I knew, I respected, I trusted, would go back on their word, as you did. You went back on your word. You said that he was a pedophile, all that. And to most people, myself included, I at least think most people, I'd rightfully assume most people, I would say that I'd want to go and never deal with that person that I called a pedophile ever again. That's not, a bold strategy there. I think it's more bold to go back and work with that person after you've dealt with bullshit that you claim to have dealt with. All the things you claimed about him. I wouldn't want to go back. I wouldn't want to work with that fucker again. No. I don't think it's unreasonable to say that sounds like a horrifying idea to have to go back and work with that person after everything you said, everything you've talked about, everything you've dealt with from them. I wouldn't want to fucking deal with that. That's me. We're going to continue a little more. This clip is going to be the longest clip I use from Mom's Basement. Again, I'm sorry. I need it for the context that it's in. This is mostly a clip show video, and I'm sorry, but we'll get into it.
10 years ago, you make this tweet about the blood on the dance floor guy saying, hey, we saw him take underage girls to his hotel room doing sexual things, right? And then, later you're saying, hey, I didn't technically see it. It was like kind of a group of us, which I believe you 100%. But there's this other situation that happened recently with James Charles where when that whole thing went down, like you put out some tweets saying that there's a reason why my boyfriend isn't letting James come over to our house anymore. I'm not going to talk to him. Haven't seen him since Toddy's birthday. He's a danger to society. And then you had a follow-up tweet where it was like basically saying, everyone keeps asking me for receipts. I have much to say. What's going on with that? Like,
what was the ending of all that? Like, where did that all end up?
I'll tell you. Okay, go ahead. I'll tell you the ending.
Is James one thing real quick? Is James Charles a danger to society? Is he a predator?
Keem. Listen.
That was a long pause. Long ass fucking pause though.
I have to ask this.
Listen. There's a long pause because it's a very complicated situation. So before I answer, the ending banks was me, James, and Tati all making peace so the internet can go back to being the internet, because it was getting so ugly and dark. But
it got crazy.
Yeah, so
I hopped in a little
so
bit.
people do want to put together the parallels of this 10-year situation and me saying this stuff about James. It's a very complicated question. And why?
I know, but like it's the same scenario though, because like if James is actually a danger, right? Then this is the opportunity, like the Darby thing, where you can say something. You know what I mean? Or is like maybe you shouldn't have put that tweet out. Like which one is it? Like I'm sorry, Jeffree, but I have to ask.
No, and I'm 100% comfortable with that. It's going to upset a lot of people, but the truth is that someone, and right now I legally can't say who, told us a few things, and we trusted that person's opinion, and then another person said some things that was friends with that man, and it really convinced us that he was a predator.
Is this another case of what happened before with the other guy?
No, this is
Is there a possibility of that? Because, I mean, they were telling you about this guy, which turned out to be true now. Is this possible with James?
From what I remember with all the drama, you didn't actually ever say flat out like you saw it. Like, it was always in the proper context of like, listen, like I'm speaking about this from kind of the view of like the circle of people that we've been discussing this with, kind of sort of thing. Like, I don't think it's similar in the sense that you flat out said, I saw some shit. You know what I mean?
Similar enough. I'm sorry. It's similar enough.
I'm lost. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's similar, but it's people that are in our community that are saying things, and I don't know if they're true or not.
But this is exactly the same thing that happened before, right?
It's actually not.
What?
So if you want, we can pause, and I can go in another room and play Banks what I have on my phone, and he can determine if he would have sent the same tweet. At the end of the day, I'm not going to out a victim of James Charles.
Okay.
Yeah, we.
If it's real, because I don't know if it's real, and I'll go in the other room and play it for
subjects
you.
to the
it's
subject
so
that we've been
because everyone wants to make me you ruined James Charles' career. No, Tati did and uploaded a 40-minute video about him, and she should have never uploaded that.
Yeah, that's why.
But she did, and for some reason, James thinks that me and Shane tried to ruin his life and orchestrated the whole thing. Like we fucking care.
So yes, for context, and I'm going to try to rush through this as fast as possible. About a year ago, to the date that this podcast was recorded, what was called the Dramageddon happened. This also involved Pro Jared by proxy, but we're not going to talk about Pro Jared. We're going to talk about the people that are important here. How about that? So yes, Tati Westbrook uploaded a video called Bye Sister, where she went nuts and accused James Charles of a ton of different shit because he decided to take a sponsorship for someone else to get into tickets to Coachella. Now, because that video was uploaded, Jeffree Star went fucking nuts and went after James Charles. He targeted him directly and his little brother. Here is James Charles talking about one thing that Jeffree Star did.
On Monday, May 6th, Jeffree posted this tweet to his Twitter, which I instantly started getting tagged in. After this tweet and a few other ones from him and his friends, I decided to reach out to him and ask if there was something going on that I should be aware of. He replied to me and he said that it was not about me and that it was about another brand stealing his ideas. This message was in a voice memo which has since disappeared from the screenshot. You'll just have to believe me. I have literally no reason to lie at this point. Even though he said it wasn't about me, I still asked to talk to him, but he said he was unavailable. A few hours later, while I was getting ready for the Met Gala, I got this text from Jeffree. Concerned but mostly really confused, I reached out to him about meeting together in private in hopes to speak together and figure out the misunderstanding, but he didn't reply. 3 days later, still no response. I decided to reach out again, but he was not available to talk. I flew to Australia on May 8th, and on May 10th, hours before my scheduled meet and greet appearance where 5,000 fans were already waiting outside, I was woken up at 4 in the morning by my friend because Tati had just uploaded her video titled Bye Sister. Watching Tati's video, it was very clear to me that my friend was still very hurt, and even though I had already apologized both privately and publicly, I wanted to make a video right then and there with my raw and honest emotions. But because of the time difference, it took me an extra few hours to film the video and get it up, and by the time I was about to hit publish, I received yet another text from Jeffree Star. I've already cleared up Sam and our night together being 100% consensual. He was absolutely not trapped in a hotel room, but Jeffree also brings up Zach. Zach is his boyfriend Nate's brother, and not only did I not pursue Zach, who identifies as mainly straight, but it was actually Jeffree who suggested that I talk to him in the first place.
Hey, Nate's brother is single and mainly straight, right up your alley.
Sounds good.
And he
sounds great for me.
And he just moved here. Work.
Zach and I talked on Snapchat for maybe a total of 10 selfies back and forth to each other. He was super sweet, but it was very clear to me that he was not actually interested, and the conversation stopped before anything could even get remotely flirty at all. With everything going on, I did not reply to Jeffree's text in the moment. A few days later, on Monday, I woke up again in the middle of the night from a phone call from my little brother Ian, who was very upset. He told me he had tweeted saying, why do people act so tough online about somebody from his hometown who was bullying him? And Jeffree Star, of all people, had quote tweeted Ian's tweet saying, why is your brother a predator? Why did you really move back to New York City? Exactly, shut the fuck up. Many people were quick to call out Jeffree for bullying a kid who had nothing to do with the situation literally at all, and he deleted the tweet. After this, I went to check my phone and noticed that Jeffree had texted me a few minutes prior, and I opened my phone to this. I really want to read this text out loud just so you all get to hear exactly what I had to read, but also so I don't miss anything. Grayson is going on camera shortly to finally tell the world how you tried to molest him and touch him in his sleep and made him uncomfortable for months, you sick motherfucker. Next, Zach will be going on camera to tell how twisted and sick you were, trying to get him to like you and then make him feel bad when he didn't want to send you photos back. Then Sam from Seattle will be joining me and Cameron to talk about you trapping him in his hotel room. You need to be locked in prison for a very long time. You need the internet taken away from you. You are a danger to society. Jeffree posted this tweet claiming he hadn't seen me since February and that Nate banned me from their home. Now, this so-called ban is the first time I'm ever hearing of this, and I just think it's really funny that Jeffree brought this up, considering the fact that he's tweeted me twice in between February and now saying that he missed me. Regardless, he ended that tweet by saying I was a danger to society and everything in Tati's video was 100% true. Adding insult to injury, not only did Jeffree text me, but he also went out of his way to text my best friend Drew this lovely message trying to turn him against me. Jeffree's messaging about me both in private and in public was hurtful, defamatory, extremely excessive, but most importantly, literally all based on lies. I wish I knew why he was doing all this, but at the same time, his track record with public feuds makes none of this a surprise. Tati made a video telling stories about me and publicly humiliating me, and now I have serious allegations against me that could be detrimental to my career.
Now, for what purpose would they have to actually do this? Why would both a man who was famous in his own right, genuinely, and I'd be lying if I said he wasn't, why would he have a benefit in this? Why would Tati Westbrook, someone who also in her own right is incredibly famous, incredibly successful, why would they have a vested interest to take down somebody who, without saying too much, they were friendly with, at least in public-facing areas? I think this was jealous. I think Tati was jealous because this kid, who was younger than both of them, he's 19 now, I believe, 19 or 20. And at this point in time, becoming more famous than them in general when it comes to numbers, subscribers, and honestly, talent. James was incredibly lucky with his success. He blew up practically overnight compared to the years that both of them had spent in these individual industries. His time in that industry was short to say the least. And James was a very smart when it comes to business conscious kid. If you look into the shit that he's done over the years, he's very smart. He's very, I'd say, well versed in his career, in his field that he went into. Unlike people, you know, obviously around him in those early days, he tried and he put in effort, which is commendable. You can not like James Charles, but respect what he's done over the years and how he's gotten to the point where he has, which is amazing for any small business owner.
PewDiePie was the first one to come out and be like, hey man, like, there's no proof that James is doing this. And then I came out in Drama and I was like, yeah, guys, we got to stop the canceling of James Charles because there's really no proof to back it up that he is an actual predator. And there is still to this day no proof in the public that he is an actual predator. So I mean,
but that's probably why. I mean, there is obviously a reason why you, James, Shane sat down, talked, decided to move on from this.
Yes,
I think a lot of people, pretty much everybody in the situation probably looked back and said, you know, this probably shouldn't have been.
Yeah, it's been a year, literally in like a few weeks, and it's been a year, and I know people just want to keep going. They want to create a feud against me and James. There's no feud. I know everyone wants to create one over and over. There's no competition. I've been doing this for a very long time.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Stop, you cannot
Jeffree,
try.
Come on.
He loves it.
But can I just get this right? You do have a testimony from an alleged victim in your possession. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, he does. That's what he said.
Right.
But listen, Jeffree,
Call
look,
my lawyer.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you right now, Jeffree.
So yes, Jeffree Star claims there's no beef, but how can you not have beef when you have a testimony and like, is you saying in your own words, proof, evidence that somebody is doing something horrifying. Somebody did something horrifying to someone. When you have that kind of evidence, you don't just, wash it away. You just, there's no beef. We decided there's no beef anymore. No. When you have evidence like that, you are in, I would personally, you are in charge, and it is your duty, your purpose, to take that evidence to somebody who can put somebody in jail or at least hold someone accountable for that. You never had evidence. You're a liar. That's all you are, Jeffree. You lied about this, and it would be more respectful if you just admitted it in the public scene. If you just came out and said, yeah, I lied. I lied about James Charles. Instead, you kind of just, I guess the best way to describe it, you just kind of left it out in the air. It's just out there floating. But there's no beef. You squashed it. There's no beef. No beef. What are you talking about? No beef. Yeah, I don't know. I find it bullshit, this whole, we squashed it in the past, but I have this evidence. Talk to my lawyer. No, fuck you. You know what you've done. You know what you did, and you're just trying to weasel your way out of it, you fucking snake.
I am not going to fuel this fire bigger so everyone can get more entertainment, because behind the scenes, this isn't funny. This is our real lives, and I inserted myself into something publicly that I shouldn't have. And I think that I need to let you guys know where I'm at today and where I've been this entire year, okay? I am in an amazing place. I'm in a beautiful relationship. My business is amazing. My family is mainly healthy besides my mom. My dogs are healthy. I have amazing employees. I have a good group of people around me. And I think sometimes we slip into our old ways. And today, I know what people want. They want me to sit here and degrade James. They want me to open up my phone and expose it all. I'm done doing that. And it may be shocking. Some of you may be like, oh, are you just trying to save your own ass? Are you a liar? Are you this? I'm willing to bite the bullet and let anyone think what they want. But today I will not be posting voice memos. I will not be posting text messages. I will not be exposing anything more. This has to stop. I'm embarrassed by my own actions. And a lot of you may be like, whoa, what do you mean by that? I could have handled things differently. After Seattle, yes, me and Nate were very uncomfortable with some things that had happened. We were kind of getting distant from James, and we really weren't on the same vibe, and that's okay. But what I should have done is vented all my feelings to James. I should have been mature enough to say, hey, I love and care about you. I've heard X, Y, and Z about you. I've seen some things I didn't like. Here's my feelings. But guess what? I didn't. And that was my first mistake. There is a big piece of the story that I don't think a lot of people know, and that's that behind the scenes, there were people in my head. There were people telling me a lot of stuff. And I don't mean my own friends. I mean people that had known James. They were being very, I don't know the right word, but they were telling me things that was making me feel a whole other way. Should I have let other people get in my head and sway my opinion about someone? No, that's my problem, and I have to deal with that. I have let people get in my head for years. I have let others and their opinions somehow get to me. So moving forward, I want to handle things way differently than I have in the past. Did I jump the gun on a situation that I didn't fully understand and chime in? Absolutely, and I am living with that every day. There's a lot of questions about my tweets, and I want to say that I regret them. I don't regret much in my life, but I regret hitting the send button because they were bigger and louder than I ever imagined. And it made things worse when I could have handled things privately. And that is something that I'm working on. I am done with the tea, with the drama, and I don't want to be involved in anyone's situations anymore. This was a huge wake-up call to reel me in because I have been really healing myself. I'm in such a good place. So for me to digress and go back to Jeffree from years ago, I'm embarrassed of myself. I'm embarrassed for my family that they have to see things online, and I'm sad that Nathan and my friends have to go online and deal with this as well because of my actions. I also owe an apology to you guys. I owe an apology to my audience for bringing something public and for inserting myself in someone else's beef, drama, situation, whatever you want to call it. I should have kept my mouth shut, and I didn't. So I want you guys to learn from me.
So yes, while he is right at the end there, he should have kept his mouth shut. He jumped into a situation half-cocked with not willing to provide any single bit of evidence that James Charles is a predator, and decided to, go off the rails. I don't believe him when he says, oh, the old me came out. No, Jeffree. Most people who use excuses like, oh, the old me abused my wife. I would never do it. You still did it. You were still out there. You were still running around, boy. You can't make this claim that, you were innocent of in this scenario. The old me slipped out. No, Jeffree Star. There is no old you. You seem like a loud, crybaby cunt who looks like, again, a Fallout ghoul who cannot handle his own ego. You really can't. You've notably, over the years, done so many fucking things. There's evidence, and I'm gonna link to some things down below, different videos from different creators who I really like, creators like Tamimi, creators like Creep Show Art, who really went deep in this, but you can't come in and say, oh, well, that was the old Jeffree. The old Jeffree liked drama. No, the new Jeffree likes drama too, because it's the same fucking Jeffree. You can't, and one thing here, kind of pat me on the back and say, oh, I'm good now. I'm the old Jeffree. You're old, sure. You're not wrong on that, but you are not the old Jeffree. You are still the same person who has years of internet experience, years of, well, actually, tell you what. We'll play some of you harassing women on the streets, and I can pull up some other stuff. But we've seen some of that old video before. We've seen those old tweets. We've seen all of that. We've seen you calling out James Charles like that, and then you going back on it. In that fucking video I just played, that clip that I just played about a minute or two ago. The fact that you are willing to go back on your word this often, this much, and with this serious of a topic, means you are the boy who cried wolf. There's nobody who should or could trust you After this, I don't believe anything you say now. You could tell me the sky is blue, I could be standing outside with you. And I would ask for a second opinion. That's how trustworthy you are.
So you can try to drag me all day long. At the end of the day, let me know when our checking accounts match. Bye ho. You're irrelevant, no one fucks with you, and all your friends talk shit behind your back. So reevaluate your entire existence. So at the end of the day, Shayla, if you're watching this, have fun with your used YSL purses and your fucked up cheek filler, because
folk cannot wear MAC cosmetics and you splash your ass in her face.
Well, maybe if she wasn't wearing the wrong foundation color, I wouldn't have to splash no battery acid. I wanted to lighten her skin tone, girl.
But that ain't correct. You know she was in the hospital.
I mean, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am.
I'm angry as hell. I'm about to beat your motherfucking ass.
Well, why didn't you come over here, girl?
Cause I know what you did to I know what you did to my little sister. You slapped her at Walgreens.
Who, that little black bitch Keisha?
You slapped her cause you was stealing eyelashes.
Honey, I am a woman of wealth, and that black bitch did not see me steal nothing. I was paying with my platinum visa.
You was a goddamn lie.
Now, do you have Keisha's number? I need her to wash my car.
Shut up, you fucking nigger bitch. Slut. God. You stupid ape, I'm gonna spray you. Bitch. Will you beat that nigger? She's a fucking nigger. You're a nigger, you fucking ugly ass bitch. Fuck you, hoe.
Now, while all those clips may seem a little out of context, again, there are links down below to all the context if you don't believe me on certain things, but this video has probably gone on a little too long, and I want to bring up one more point. I'm going to play one more video, and then we're going to talk about it. Here's one last clip. I know it's been a lot of clips back and forth and different audio things, but trust me when I say there's just so much shit going on, and I really did want to lead back to this when I heard this, and it's really what pushed this video to the forefront of the stuff I was working on, to the detriment of myself. But here is the clip from Pastel Belle's YouTube channel, where she interviewed a former merch girl of Jeffree Star and of William Controls. So I'm going to leave this to the clip, and then I will come back.
Last year, when Dramageddon happened, and he accused James Charles of being a predator when he once tried to sell me.
Jeffree tried to
sell me. Yeah, he wanted weed, and he told me to suck the drug dealer's dick so that he could get weed. Free weed. God. Yeah. Because he had already offered, and the guy wasn't interested. So he tried to pour me out for pot. Fine. Smoke pot.
Oh my God.
So I told him no. I was like, I don't need to smoke pot. Why would I do that? For any reason. Some like gross random pot dealer? No.
Yeah.
Now, this is where I have to start saying allegedly, because of course this is an allegation. I have to be very careful with the way I word this. So I'm going to word this in the correct way here, folks. So I'm going to be dancing around my words just for this last little bit. Supposedly, Jeffree Star, as heard there, was accused by a former merch girl of having essentially been offered to a pot-dealing gentleman if she would give him fellatio, allegedly. Jeffree Star would allegedly get marijuana. Now, that is disgusting, hypothetically, if it's real. Again, covering my bases here, folks. Hypothetically, if it's real, that is incredibly disgusting and incredible abuse of power. The kind of thing that is genuinely disturbing. The fact that Jeffree Star, a grown man, would allegedly be willing to use someone on his tour, someone he works with, someone who is an employee of his, to allegedly score marijuana, to use that person to allegedly proposition them to give fellatio, suck a dick, what have you. The fact that he was willing to do that alone, allegedly, is horrifying. It speaks a lot about character if it's real, but if it is real, that speaks so many volumes about Jeffree's character and willingness to use people around him. And it's not like he's entirely fond of straight women either. If you read some of his lyrics, which are going to be posted on screen here, they are not flattering towards women, or women in relationships with men. The fact that he's willing to take people around him, allegedly, and abuse them, and have these people coming out for him, well, to him, about James Charles and not releasing the information if it's real. I think that Jeffree Star has a problem. I don't know what problem it is. Mind you, again, some of this is allegation, some of this is not proven, but how many of the clips did I use were him speaking, were him talking, were him going on and talking about these things, or doing actions in the clips? I have given you what I see publicly, what I've seen from a cursory glance. I don't know shit about Jeffree Star. I didn't know, like, the only thing I used on MySpace was the music. I used it as like a radio. I didn't know shit about MySpace back in the day, and people like him were massive on MySpace. They truly were. And, you know, Jeffree is famous. Obviously, Jeffree has a lot of clout around him. Jeffree has a lot of bias and people around him that are famous on their own end, but also people that are taking advantage of him and taking advantage of the fact that he makes a fuck ton of cash. I would be lying if I said otherwise. I don't give a fuck, personally, about Jeffree Star. Nothing that I do in my daily life interacts with him. But I feel like when he's becoming a public voice, when he's going to offer his opinions, insight, or possible connections into things in his world, which people like James Charles are in that world, and James Charles is one of the biggest fucking creators on YouTube. And when I look at it, and I look at how he went after him, I can't help but think there is some sort of bias that he has because James has overtaken him. He likes to mention, I cut it out of the podcast, the FaZe Banks parts of a podcast are so bad. Keem, if you hear this somehow, get rid of Banks. I don't like you, but get rid of Banks. You and Clown are fucking great. You riff off each other. Clown's great. You know what I mean? But that's off topic. But you take that amount that James has, and Jeffree was seeing him as a rival, more than a friend. More, you know, they did collaborations and shit. But I think that Jeffree Star saw the writing on the walls. He saw that James was growing, and James was growing big. And I think that scared him. I truly do. I think it scared him to the point where he was willing to take his platform and Toddy's platform, because she was probably afraid as well, and use it as a cudgel against James to slander him. I don't give a shit about James Charles as a creator. I don't give a shit about his content. But I cannot fathom somebody wanting to take a kid, 19. The kid's an upstart. The kid is actually trying to be something. And people around him either are going to use that, or they will try to weaponize any single thing they can get to use against him. And that's fucking horrifying. I just want to call out some of this shit that I see as disgusting, and hope that other people do as well. I obviously can't control if people do. But with that, that is pretty much the end of this video. I'm going to roll it to the Patreon outro. And also I'm going to mention in that little outro, if you're still listening, a schedule that I'm working on that I just started technically this week as I put this video out. So enjoy, take it easy. I will see y'all next time. And to the Patreon outro. Hey, and welcome to the Patreon outro. Some things to bring up really quick. I know I have not done a ton of shit for the $10 tier, the creator commentary bubble, where I was supposed to do commentaries talking about how I made or some new insights on older videos. And I realize I haven't made those in a while, and I can explain that I should have been doing it, but I just haven't, and I feel incredibly fucking bad that I haven't. So what's going to happen is I'm going to do a lot of those, but after a while I'm going to kind of release them to the $5 tiers as well, since we have a little less of those, but to kind of even it out. Just over time, the $10 will get them, and they'll be exclusive for probably about 3 or 4 months, and then older ones release into the $5 tier. But for now, that's just how I'm going to do it. And I'm going to batch record a whole bunch of them, and upload probably about 5 or 6 at first, and then add them each month as I go along. Just because I feel like I haven't done a ton of them in a while, and I feel incredibly bad to my $10 patrons, some of whom have been for 8 months, and to which also thank you. Thank you for being a part of it this long. with that, I'm going to get into the patron tiers and the people that are pledged and say their names. So at the $10 tier, at our top tier, we have Amaret, we have Annie, we have a new member, Banana Mouse, we have Stephen Mayer, and some Jackass. At our $4.99 tier, we have Augie Burns, Union 573, and Ichi. And then in our $1 tier, in no particular naming order because there's just so many here, K. Shay, Sin, Nat Waifu, Josh Boyles, Baleborn, Bizditch, Kim W, Lyra, Charlie, Sydney, and the Bean of England. I've gotten to this kind of healthy point where I have a schedule. This month has been kind of hard as hell for me in different ways. More to deal with just people around my life, some leaving, a new person who's genuinely helped me out a lot in different ways, in ways that person doesn't even know, and I'm not going to mention too much of it just yet, just kind of to, keep you guys, keep things in a good, safe way without, obviously don't want to bring someone into something without them having certain consent, so it's not that big without saying too much. But I'm having a great time. I'm excited to show where this channel's going, where it's going to go with all this. And I wish I had put out more during my time in quarantine, but honestly, now that I have a schedule again, I can plan things and sort things out. And the schedule that I'm working on for the channel as a whole is I'm going to, every week on Monday, at least stream something on Twitch. So every Monday, you'll be able to find me at twitch.tv/FUZHOUYT. Either a game or that watch party feature they have now, something like that, something big, something important. And then I'm going to alternate weeks. So, let's say it's the first week of the month. It'll be next week when I'm recording this. So next week, I will do a stream on Wednesday, but I won't have a video on Friday. The next one, I'm going to try to have a video out on Friday. I say try because I need to prioritize pipeline features and all that, and I need to work on my my editing flow, which is a different thing. I've actually been meaning to purposely take it seriously again, and that's what I'm doing with this. So every other Friday, there won't be a stream on that Wednesday, but there will be a video out that Friday. So if you've stayed this far of a video, and if you haven't, I'm going to put a community post out on Monday. This Monday, kind of explaining it, where it's going, why it's like that. And mind you, when I say Friday, I'm talking Friday for the patrons. I might do the video public on a Saturday, or maybe even late night Friday, but early morning to afternoon is when patrons should see this video on average. That's my goal. That's my grand thing to kind of hit it with, But yeah, you've seen this video, you've enjoyed it, hopefully. If you did, please hit like, please hit subscribe, hit that bell notification as well. The next two big videos I have planned, one is related to Jeffree Star, but the next one, the peak next one, is about Nicholas Strautzenberger, or Nick Bait. If you know who that is, you're already cringing. If you don't, you should be. Take it easy, have a good night, thank you for being with the channel. We're at, I think, 18.1 thousand subscribers right now, which is something, again, blows my fucking mind. So with that, I thank you, take it easy, and have a good night.
There's one thing I will not tolerate, and that is a motherfucking liar.